Welcome to the end of the year video, this time a special moves edition. So if you haven't seen any of these moves videos, it's been a format that I've introduced to showcase some of my more fun training that's not necessarily martial arts. Every one of these videos I've always bookmarked with some martial arts at the beginning and the end, because this is a martial arts channel. But also made sure to showcase a lot of different stuff that I've been exploring, especially this year. Stuff like parkour, like this stuff with the yogi ball, experimenting with a roll pattern from capoeira and different movement arts. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm going to talk a bit and share some thoughts on the year that has passed, as well as the upcoming year, as I always tend to on these end of the year videos. I'm actually recording this the day after Christmas, recording this voiceover rather. And there's some mobility work, just a fun challenge I found online. But what I really want to talk about, first of all, is appreciation. More so my own appreciation for all the support throughout the years and the continual support for this project, because it's definitely been challenging to keep up consistently sharing free content, and I've managed to create and share on a weekly basis. But it's not been easy balancing it with my work as a pedagogue and my role as a husband, and most importantly my role as a father. If you're facing similar struggles trying to share content or something, I can just give one piece of advice, which is to create content in bulk. Early on in this journey as a YouTuber, I used to just have to record something new every week, because I didn't record and create content in bulk. And back then it was more possible because I didn't have as many things to balance in my life, and also it was early on, so if I felt burned out, that was less likely, and that meant I had more energy to come up with something always and create. But when you create stuff in bulk, that means that even if you're not feeling it, which will happen regardless of what kind of endeavor you've gotten yourself into, eventually you'll lose that motivation and it will come and go. And if you already created some content you can rely on, that makes it a lot easier, especially when life gets really busy and hard. This was a fun challenge towards the end of the year. All of the clips in this video are actually from, I think, from around September and until the end of the year, including this yogi ball headstand flow. So a lot of different kinds of training, and I've already been experimenting a lot with my training, but of course this goal of creating a moves compilation also inspires me to try out some different things I wouldn't perhaps do otherwise. Besides my appreciation for those who've been along for the entire journey of this channel, at least early on, as well as those who've come along for the ride this year, I also want to voice my appreciation for the biggest supporter of ZEN DRAGON, I believe, my dad, who early on when I started this channel, he was the one recording, holding my phone, and sometimes he was unable to see what he was actually recording, so I never knew whether he got the shot in or not, but he's just continually watched all my content and supported me, even promoted it to some of the locals that he hangs around with. So I'm definitely thankful for that. If you hear some noise in the background, it's my computer. I think it's struggling with playing this video in the editing program. I am definitely not rich. I don't earn a lot on this channel, and even though I have videos which have several millions, I think I have one 5 million viewed video, as well as perhaps a video or two which reached the million mark. Those have been long since demonetized, and I really don't earn anything substantial off of this channel. It's even to the point where I'm so busy, and also it's a boring task, that I haven't figured out how to file taxes properly, so YouTube takes away the majority of my income until I manage to do that. I think it's like a 60% tax or something of what is a very small amount of money anyways. But it's never been about the money, it's always been about sharing my passion and making an impact. And I feel I still manage to do this, even though I don't get as many messages and comments as I used to from people that have been inspired by my content. And I guess it's just that I'm not able to do and create as much or spend as much time on it as I was prior to becoming a father. But I feel like I've struck a balance where it's not hurting my personal life and those around me, and I'm able to still share. And my goal remains to reach 100,000 subs and get that silver play button one day. Even if the growth is slower and slower these past years, I'll continue if possible, even past the point of 50 years old. And hopefully I can still do fun stuff like jumping through a hoop or doing parkour on a tree. And of course all the martial arts, Nunchaku, Guandao, MMA sparring, animal style sparring, all kinds of things. I hope to be able to still do all of that in some capacity as I age. I want to be still sharing this content when I'm 50, when I'm 60, perhaps when I'm 70. And of course, especially with the sparring, I'm gonna have to tone it down a bit, not do any full contact. But for now, I'm 40 years old, and I was able to have a final fight this year, an exhibition fight, which I was able to win in MMA. Exhibition against an opponent I'd never faced. Not that experienced an opponent, but a martial artist nonetheless, and a very fit and dangerous opponent, and I was able to secure the guillotine choke. I'll leave a link in the description. If I haven't, please let me know and I'll make sure to edit this video and add it. But just in case you wanna catch that fight, as well as my post-fight speech. So that was my retirement fight. I don't plan on having any comeback fights, but you never know. So this channel has been through a lot of different phases, from early on when I was focused on sharing the Meishu Kung Fu and my background in that, with animal styles, and sharing especially all the kicks, which has always been a strength of mine, to where I got really into weapons content and eventually weapon sparring, particularly with traditional martial arts weapons from China and sometimes Japan, and also other phases where it's been very focused on combat sports with a lot of MMA sparring and some matches, always with a touch of Kung Fu though. And it's been self-defense phases, particularly when I trained Krav Maga, but also every year I've tried to share elements of all of those different phases. Like this year I did the ATM scenario video. I think it was this year or was it last year? I'm not even sure right now. But for sure this year I did the scenario sparring with a chair used as an improvised weapon. There's already a highlight video from that day sharing some of that as well as other forms of sparring. And next year I'll be sharing the full sparring video with all the scenarios involving that chair. So there's been a lot of phases, but particularly this year it's been very much focused on movement, which has also been reflected in some of the content where I've been sharing martial arts in every single video, but sometimes mixing it with some parkour or some calisthenics or floor work or something. Some fun training with the trident. I definitely want to do a video this summer with the trident. Who knows, perhaps even a virtual sparring video where you have to try and defend against the trident or something, just to do something different. I still haven't gotten started on editing the capoeira opponent virtual sparring video, so that'll be very interesting. It would be nice to create some of that again. There's a whole playlist of virtual sparring videos for you to check out as well. Just search for ZEN DRAGON virtual sparring. Perhaps I'll leave a link for that as well in the description. So for this next year I'm actually hoping to be able to launch a martial arts class. It'll only be on weekends and I'll have to cancel some weekends until I get my potential co-instructor introduced to the whole system. It will be an instructor with a background in a black belt in karate, but I want to teach a specific style of martial arts with some Kung Fu flavor. So I want to train alongside that instructor, hopefully, until the point where I can let that instructor teach whenever my wife is at work on weekends and I have to be with my son and cancel classes. We'll see if that happens, it's not certain. And that's my son doing a fun experimental trick. We'll see what this next year brings. I have no idea. Have a great year and make sure to train both your body and your mind. Thanks for listening. Visit patreon.com/ZenDragon.